that music.
Party's not a party's a man who fights crime, and we're gonna watch him fight for a minute at a time with John and Niall and a guest who doesn't rhyme. It's Bat Minute!
Greetings, citizens of Gotham, and welcome once again to Bat Minute Returns, the show that's played you listeners like a harp from hell all along, you suckers. I am one of your hosts, John Parker.
And I am the other host, Niall McGowan. I was trying to think of like some kind of joke to be like, how have we suckered the audience? But like, we tricked you all into listening to this stupid show for like 91 episodes now.
Who's the fool? The
real
fool
or the fool that follows him.
Exactly.
The fool who podcasts, or the listener who listens to it.
I should probably introduce our very special guests here. Yes, we are joined. You may remember them from last season, or you may know them from their own show. We have Murren Kennedy and Jessa Lowe of Point Break Minute.
Huzzah!
Hello!
Hey, here to... I was going to make some kind of surfing reference, and I realized I'm a white Englishman. I've never surfed.
We've never surfed either. We don't know anything about it.
I feel
Hang
like
10
you should be
is something.
obliged for your final episode to record it live on the open waves.
Well, we are planning maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, it will probably sound horrible, but there is a beach in Oregon that was the final filming location in the final
Scene.
Yeah, and actually was the final chronologically filming episode that's in southwestern Oregon on a beach there, and we can drive there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we'll actually be surfing. That would be a little bit tough, but we'll be on the beach maybe, record just a little bit there.
I really want you to
sound
do
horrible,
that.
but yeah,
If you can do it, because the sound of the waves would be quite nice while you're
it
chatting.
would. I mean, absolutely.
Yeah.
Or you could just fake it and put wave sounds in, and no one would be the one.
Yeah. Yeah, I could just be in the background going,
Oh, look, I don't know, a whale. I don't
Bring
think
like
whales are.
a white noise machine.
Perfect.
And just like people in the distance going like, Hang 10, bro. It's like, oh, yeah, here come the surfers.
yeah.
I've given you a good idea here. Like, I don't care if you even go to this beach. Just fake it all. It'll be fantastic.
It'll be a lot easier that way.
You know, definitely. But we should probably talk about Batman for a minute. This is minute 91. The minute starts with some top-notch ventriloquism, and it ends with a tomato to the mush. Or a tomato, should I say, for our listeners and guests.
Mostly cabbage.
And a cabbage, yes. It's not really enough to make a nice salad, that.
It'll be something like, Penguin just grabs a load of the stuff on the way out. And it's just like, oh, this is dinner tonight anyway. So
And you don't.
but that's next minute.
You don't want it to be
That's
all
what happened.
cabbage and tomatoes. That's not a great salad. I want some more
No.
variety. You know.
I want to see people just throwing cucumbers at him and just bouncing off his
Yeah.
head and things. That'd be great.
Some.
I was like, hesitant to follow this line because it's like, oh, that's all. That's the very tail end of this minute. That's mostly next minute was when he gets pelted.
Yeah, true.
That's true.
So we'll
Yeah, this minute's much more the audible downfall of the Penguin. Really starts to kick into high gear here. I should though, before getting into the minute though, because sometimes they have context for where the guests are coming from. Because I was catching up on Point Break Minute recently.
Oh, good.
And I heard Jessa say in an episode that she only likes Batman and Robin and The Dark Knight. So now it's just like, oh, what about this movie, Jessa? Like, what are you doing?
I've actually never seen this movie all the way through, so it's not fair of me.
I feel like I remember watching it with you. But maybe you weren't there the whole time.
Maybe I wasn't there mentally the whole time.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That does happen a lot. You will
Yeah.
watch a movie and then forget that it ever existed.
Yeah. Like Murren says we've seen the movie The Rock. I don't think so.
Oh my
So-
god.
She has her doubts.
I've been through this. My partner and guest of the show, Lol. Every movie we watch together, give it 6 weeks and she will not remember anything.
I'm so
Nothing.
glad I'm not the only one.
Like, you know what? Some people that annoys them, but I actually really love it because then we can watch it again, and
That's true.
I am watching it anew through her eyes. It's lovely.
That's pretty nice.
The thing is that's happened with you yourself, John.
Well, it happens
We're
to everyone to a point.
I just remember one time, years and years ago, putting on Samurai Cop around my place, and then a year or two later, you and Law coming in we've discovered this great movie. I was like, we've seen it already.
To be fair, Niall,
we were in the same room.
When you showed me it the first time, I was very drunk. So, I'm excused.
Good place to be for Samurai Cop.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So you're saying that, Jessa? So you've still never seen this movie the entire way through? You're going in just I guess this is something about a penguin guy, and
yeah, and I think I've seen some of it. I feel like I saw the beginning of her, Michelle Pfeiffer ish of her, and yeah.
I feel like we should try it again because I think you'd really like this movie if we watched it all the way through. Although you were just saying to me you don't like Tim Burton.
Yeah.
Ooh, this is the most Tim Burton movie of all time.
That's true.
Know.
I was just curious. What was your basis for that? Is there a particular movie that really soured you?
That really soured me. I don't like The Corpse Bride.
Okay.
Oh.
I don't know. I just I love creepy stuff as much as the next person, but he's just not. I don't know. Something about him isn't my favorite. So
I think current Tim Burton, who's about to release Dumbo, is not the same Tim Burton that was doing Batman Returns.
Yeah.
It's he's gone through an evolution of sorts.
Yeah.
You got the weird kooky artist who was fired by Disney in the 80s. Now the golden prodigal son come back releasing a multi-million-dollar blockbuster for Disney.
Yeah, he has gone through a bit of a Wes Anderson trajectory, I would say, even more so perhaps, where it started out having a very distinctive style, and now it seems like he's just copying that style over and over again without any basis for it.
Yeah, but so if you don't like Tim Burton in general, Jessa, I should warn you because the first movie that was Batman. This movie could have been called Tim Burton's Batman. It's much more he has just slathered himself more on this. Even he was a fair bit of Burton in the first one, but this is oh no, this is you. Yeah. If you weren't told who made this, you could just guess within the first couple of minutes who made it.
It's Tim Burton's world. Batman just lives in it.
Yeah,
you could probably. Well, I mean, I'll ask you, Jessa. Did you watch these scenes and immediately think, "Oh, this is very Tim Burton"? Because I think it looks like a Tim Burton movie. The Penguin looks like a sketch he's done.
Definitely, yeah. The Penguin, I think, looks so Tim Burton-y. But having said all that about not liking Tim Burton, I do really like the visuals in these minutes that I've seen. They work. So they're nice.
Well, it does marry well with Batman. I think it's a match made in heaven, which people probably thought would never work, but they really go together, the styles, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say so, especially given how Tim Burton loves scaring kids and how Batman is just kind of he's reliving this trauma of childhood just all the time.
Yeah, Batman works as a Tim Burton character for sure, and the villains even more so.
Oh yeah. This whole movie, it's about the villains really. He's Batman, he can pop up when he has to, but I'm going to focus on the Penguin and Catwoman.
Yeah, the Penguin the Penguin and Catwoman are the main characters of this movie for sure.
Yeah. Speaking of the Penguin, he's in a bit of a pickle at the minute because it turns out all that stuff he said's come back to bite him in the ass. Where Batman or Bruce Wayne in this current guise he's got on is in the Batcave playing this audio.
Those little glasses.
Yeah,
those little glasses.
But he's really I find it quite odd though that he's focusing on repeating "I played this stinking city like a harp from hell," which is fair enough. But I would have thought the wretched pinhead puppets of Gotham would be the one you'd want to repeat because that's the one that's directly insulting the crowd. This is kind of, but it doesn't have the direct I am talking about the people that I'm calling them idiots. I'm calling them puppets. And this is just I played this stinking city. It's it's not as harsh to me. I feel he should have flipped the clips around.
He's not a very good DJ, Niall. Come on.
He is.
He's a
not.
subtle guy.
But that's the thing because we do get then as the crowd begins to get unsettled. I'm still. We talked about it a bit last week, but according to the IMDb trivia, Danny Elfman is supposed to be in this crowd.
Oh,
And I
cool.
cannot find him. Just can't find him at all.
Unless he's a bit of a chameleon. But he's quite a distinctive looking chap normally.
Yeah. There's no one in there who even there's people in there who look like friends of ours, John, but there's no one in there who looks like Danny Elfman to me. I was thinking though, because apparently another thing they said in the IMDb trivia was that this set was so secretive that apparently at one point Kevin Costner wanted to come on the set and he was told no.
Oh.
And I don't know if that's just because Tim Burton heard like Kevin Costner wanted to come visit and he's like, no, why would I want to hang out with Kevin Costner?
Hey, I'll tell you what.
Because
Right? I'm not saying he should have, but I could have seen a world where Kevin Costner played Batman.
Totally.
Yeah, I'm
he
not
would have
saying I
wanted to
want
direct
it
it himself and
Yeah.
do his own thing there, but he could have.
There would be some good "My City" lines. there.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
now I
very-
kind of do want it.
I don't know, man. 'Cause Costner, like, he's got this weird thing to me where he's a very good director, from judging by Dances with Wolves, and he seems to be in good stuff. But I've never liked him as an actor. He's just the most bland man in the world.
Well,
I
the
can
next
imagine him
Batman
coming
is
out.
bland now. Come on.
Yeah.
I can imagine him coming out though. He wouldn't even do the raspy voice. He'd be like, "Yeah, that's right, I'm Batman," and just be like,
I'm Batman.
doing that monotone, nasally voice, and be like, "No, man." Like, just no Costner. But it could be maybe because like, what did Costner make before this? It was like Bull Durham with Robert Wool.
Yeah.
Maybe
Oh, yeah.
like Tim was like, he's buddies with Bob Wool. No, get him out of here. I don't want him.
He's friends with my best friend, Robert Wool.
He's everybody's best friend. Come on. We all love you, Rob.
Would be great though if that's actually in this crowd. You did see Kevin Costner standing amongst the extras, and then Robert Wool in disguise was next to him.
If I was making
Like,
a movie, I would fill crowd scenes with A-list stars just to confuse people.
Totally.
Oh,
Well, there is a woman in there who looks like Rachel McAdams, but I'm assuming Rachel McAdams was probably like 6 when this
Yes,
came out, so it's
too
probably
young.
not her.
If that, yeah.
I feel like this could have been the type of instance where, like, I don't know if you guys saw the Island of Dr. Moreau with Marlon Brando,
Oh, yeah.
but there's a scene where the director that they fired from the movie, he sneaks back on the set
Oh, that's right.
and wears a dog. Yeah, he wears a dog costume.
That's right. That's
and-
Richard Stanley, the guy who directed Hardware with William Hootkins, who was in the first movie. It's like, oh my god, it's all connected.
Oh, it all comes together.
Yeah.
He's apparently, I've heard rumors that he's making a comeback with an H.P. Lovecraft adaptation.
I'm on board already.
But that documentary about the making of the Island of Dr. Moreau makes it seem as if he's like the most amazingly underrated director. Where you're like, oh, this guy seems awesome. How come he's not made more stuff? But
Totally.
I think maybe he just might be very, very jaded because, again, that production. We'll talk about that whole documentary probably more in the next movie because Val Kilmer was a major problem for him. And I think he got fired, and then they were taking him to the airport to get him off the island, and then he disappeared. And then he showed up weeks later. He had found like other people from the set who were camping nearby or something, and then they disguised him and put him in the movie. So. But
That's terrifying.
It's a crazy documentary. that movie is nuts.
I know what I'm watching tonight then.
But I would absolutely love though. It was just like, you just saw in the crowd just like people who are very blatantly Kevin Costner and Robert Wool, but just like with mustaches on. Just standing.
I have a little bit of info here now because I looked up the phrase "HARP from Hell" because I thought it's
good alliteration.
It's a weird phrase, other than the alliteration, which is lovely. It's a weird phrase. Like, I'd never really thought about it, but I don't think I've really heard it many places. So I was wondering, like, how did they come up with this? And it wasn't conclusive, obviously, but I couldn't find the origin of the phrase. But I did find that there is a hell harp in the Hieronymus Bosch work, The Garden of Earthly Delights, which was created between 1490 and 1510. And in this piece, on the right-hand section, it's got, like, depictions of hell. I think the middle bit was earth, and then the left bit was heaven. Yeah, I think it was this way around, and then the right is hell. And there's a small section of a person crucified on a giant harp. And I think the implication is they have to play it with their body forever, basically, which is pretty messed up. It's that famous Hieronymus Bosch one of Hell. You've probably seen it. Look it up, everyone. The Garden of Earthly Delights is the name of the whole piece.
What it reminds me of actually is the Lyre of Orpheus, which I know mostly from the Nick Cave and the Bad Seed song, which is just that is just creating all sorts of destruction.
That's amazing. Let's attach that song to the episode or something, Niall, or put it in the group.
It's a great song.
It's a great song. It's amazing. So yeah, I wasn't sure 100% where the phrase comes from. That's another good contender. But I thought that was very interesting, and it's a good piece. So I will put a picture of it.
I wouldn't be surprised if that Dan Waters or Wesley Schreck was familiar with that phrase, or was familiar with Hieronymus Bosch and knew that concept of that's in that painting, and that did influence the term "Harp from Hell." I wouldn't be surprised if that they seem like they'd be artistic, educated guys. So yeah, it could well be where it spawned from.
If I'm wrong, don't write in and let me know. I don't care.
Talking about someone though who doesn't seem very educated in what he's doing here is we get a little cut back to the Batcave with Bruce, and then he's spinning his decks, but he's doing a little kind of action with a CD. You can't do that with a CD. That's
You can't. Nope, doesn't work.
I have seen more. I don't say recently because it's not like the last couple of years, but I have seen equipment where you can do that with CDs, but it does not look remotely like this. It's like the CD plays, and then you've got fake turntables that I think it buffers the CD and makes a digital file that you then pretend to scratch.
Yeah.
So this thing wouldn't bloody work. No.
No. You think maybe it's because Alfred's actually doing all the work, and he's just just let him play and think he's doing something good. Bruce knows how to go out and punch people. I know how to do everything else. So he's just obviously freaking intercept the feed and do all the stuff.
Well, it's quite funny we're talking about DJing and stuff, because that's the only other use of Harp from Hell. I completely forgot that I did find a song called Harp from Hell by the electronic dance duo Bebop and Rocksteady. So maybe Oswald is just a raver and he's getting into it,
It's nice to know what happened to those guys after they just gave up, trying to kill the turtles. So I was going to try to do an impersonation of them there, but it'll be we should really get into DJing.
That was good. That was amazing.
But just imagine that, Shredder and Krang having to show up in the back to support them and stuff oh, God. Turns out Krang's really into it, and he's just, bopping away inside in the stomach of that big robot thing he's always in and stuff.
Well, after Mixmaster Bruce shows his sweet skills, right, the crowd very quickly turn on Oswald here, and I don't get why they turn on him so fast, because he's clearly not saying it live. So who's to say that this is even a recording of him anyway? This could be an impersonator. It could be anything. The only explanation I could think of is, are they trying to show us the fickle nature of fame, success, the public?
Crowd mentality.
Yeah, and it could be just they're not hearing the context. For all they know, he could have been if I was a really bad guy, I might say something like, I played this city like a harp from hell, but I wouldn't say anything like that.
Oh, I love these fine people. These people, although that is what he said, these people don't know that. There could be a million other things going on, and he's clearly not saying it right there and then. How do they know what's going on?
We did mention it in earlier episodes, but everything he's saying about the people of Gotham is accurate. They are wretched pinhead puppets. They're complete idiots. They're fickle assholes who just turn on a dime. I have no time for the general public of Gotham.
Oh, you're a supervillain.
That's no, let's just look at them. The fact that they unquit, what's happening? Oh, boo! Literally anything could happen. And they're just sheep. They just go along with whatever's hot at the minute.
Okay.
So, no, I have no time for them.
Mr. Evil over here. You'd have to be an Irish stereotype if you were a villain in the Batman universe, though. You can't be of a different.
So a cop.
A cop. You can't be from a different country in comic books, especially from back in the day, and it not be made into some kind of sort of racist, sort of xenophobic thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Your immediate thing would be to go for like a leprechaun thing, but then it's like, no, I feel like it might be done. So it's like, I don't know, call myself like the shillelagh or something. Or,
Hell yeah.
it's like a pint of Guinness or something like that. It's like, yes, just drown people in stout. Just spray it on the streets.
One way to go.
Has there? I wouldn't be surprised if there was a leprechaun villain at some point. Although that just kind of sounds like the Leprechaun movies.
Yes.
The Leprechaun meets Batman.
Well, you might as well. They already took him into space. Who cares what you do from that point on?
Yeah, Batman's nothing after that.
I mean, he's in the hood as well, so it's like, the Leprechaun in Gotham. It's like, you know, but he's faced the Predator and aliens in comics. Why not the Leprechaun?
Yeah. And I mean, it was already a step down, wasn't it? Like, you got Leprechaun in space, and then the next movie, Leprechaun in the hood. It's like, well, okay, fine. So Leprechaun in Gotham, cool. Give me it.
Well, I mean, where can you go after space? Like the nano dimension or something like that?
Yes.
Leprechaun goes subatomic.
I want Leprechaun 4D. That'll be the next one.
Oh, nice. Smell-o-vision.
Yeah, I was about to say, and it just smells terrible.
Smell the fourth
I wonder what a
dimension.
leprechaun smells like.
I guess he would smell like shoe polish because he has the whole thing for polishing people's shoes.
Some people are really into the smell of shoe polish. I don't get that.
I do think it's a pleasant smell, but
Like huffing it? Or,
Well, some people do that. Yeah, but some people just
That's all they can get.
Some people just enjoy it. But I'm a weirdo. I like this. I like the smell of gasoline. You know, it's quite a nice smell.
Oh. I've never heard that before, but more power
But
to you.
I hate cars, so I don't really come across it often.
the man at war with himself. It's just like he's much like the internal turmoil of Batman.
Yeah.
John faces every time he's walking past a car that smells like gasoline.
I feel quite a lot like the Bat. Yes.
Yeah. For some reason, though, the fact that we saw like incredibly dated technology and the fact that Bruce is having to do this through a CD player, of course, a Bat-branded CD player.
Yes.
It got me thinking about more modern technology. Like, if this movie was made now, do you think we would have saw a follow-up scene where, like, some people on YouTube would have taken the audio and done, like, remixes of the Penguin and stuff? Be like, you know, like the Bed Intruder song where, you know, he's climbing in your windows, he's snatching your people. They would have auto-tuned.
Yeah, had
like,
kids, had your wife.
Yeah, I think it definitely would have been that, for sure.
yeah, it's like, I played this stupid city like a harp from hell.
Well, that'd be the post-credit scene.
Well, and my favorite part of this minute is the way that Alfred and Batman are looking at each other with this like, you crazy for this, Rick? Or like, kind of. So I feel like there's got to be some crossover there too.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Later on, after the mission is over, they sort of just like get together and create some beats.
Yeah.
Work together, you know, do some looping.
I think so, because the strict revised draft of the script describes this bit rather embarrassingly as like a sophisticated rap club DJ. Bruce scratches the CD.
Sophisticated is really what got me there.
Yes, because rap club DJs are always thought of as sophisticated. Yes.
It's like, you know, taking off the monocles and scratching the vinyl with that instead. I do know, like, me and John, one of our friends does, he used to do a lot of DJing, and I know from living with him briefly, like, apparently scratching is, like, addictive, because every time he was playing records, I'd just be sitting, and you'd be here, no matter what it was, like, he'd be playing some ballad or something, but every time he walked past the record player, you just get like a waka, 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 and he just couldn't help himself.
Was this Jimmy by any chance?
Oh yeah, so of course it was Jimmy.
But in Batman, Max here, he can see the tide has turned and there's no coming back now, so he kind of slinks away with his security, doesn't he? And he gives Oswald a little look, kind of like, sorry, it's business. You know, I'm not going to help you.
There's a shrug. It's like, what are you gonna do? You're on your own, kid.
Like, it's not going to affect Max. He can just, you know, come back with something else. Nothing affects these evil billionaires.
I do have to say though, before he gives him the shrug, the turn back to him, like I think we mentioned it in a few scenes of like various people doing these type of things, but this is totally like a what I call and Anthony Stewart Head as Giles shot, where it's like the opening credits of like, you know, Buffy or Dawson's Creek or something, where like, oh yeah, you get one of the actors to turn their head and look into the camera, and then you get their name come up underneath them.
I love that.
I really wanted him to give a thumbs up.
Yes.
To Batman. Just be like, you got it, guy.
I did that at school when I made a short zombie movie. I thought to myself, why don't movies do that? It's better. It's more fun. So I decided, and I justified it in my text editor, right? So I did that for all the characters. So it was some of it was scenes from the short, and some of it was just stuff I shot. Like the hero character was just like, he was working out, and then the camera came in, and he just sort of turned and was like, "Hey," you know, like smiling at the hey. I thought that was quite a cool little thing. I love it when stuff does that.
But I guarantee, had this been like, if someone did a YouTube remix of this and like, oh, Batman Returns, but it's a 90s TV show, then this is the opening credits, this definitely would be the shot for Chris Walken. Yes. Like him that sudden turn and then the shrug. Like, it's just, it's perfect. It's perfect. Yeah. Although, speaking of strange things, I don't remember if we ever mentioned this. I know we didn't go this deeply into it, but I was trying to look into, like, go back into the old well of Danny DeVito facts and stuff. And I believe it's in Jessa. Do you work as a stylist? Don't you?
Uh-huh.
Were you aware of the fact that apparently Danny DeVito started off his working career as a hairdresser?
You know, I think I do remember something about that, but maybe was it a family thing or?
Yeah, it was. Apparently, yeah. When he just got out of school, his sister owned a salon, and she's like, "You should just come work for me." And apparently he came in, and he's saying that on the first day there was like 40 women there, all lined up wanting to be hairdressers. So then this guy comes in just like, yeah, well, kind of tough. I got it. Although it's very bizarre seeing pictures of Danny DeVito when he's young, because he has like a Chris Walken coif. He's got like a big, like full on quiff of hair back in the day.
Whoa.
So it's like you're so used to everything else about him just looks like Danny DeVito, like the normal Danny DeVito, but this so much more hair up the front. It's weird.
I feel like he came out of the womb looking like how he does now.
Yeah, by the time we got to know him, he was the sort of balding, male pattern baldness little gremlin that we love.
Yeah.
Aww.
But not only though did he style living people's hair, apparently he said that a lot of the women who came in because they were so happy with his work and his sister's work, that when they died, they had in their will that they had to do their hair for the wake. So he said he styled quite a few dead bodies' hair. And he's like, the way he's even saying in the interview, it's just like, yeah, that's really creepy, isn't it? Actually, looking back now, that's really weird. I didn't think of it at the time, but that's really creepy.
Yeah, that is insane.
No, it's just saying, it's just like, this is like a normal body, only they don't talk back to you. So maybe some people would prefer that, I guess, maybe.
It's a normal body. They just don't talk back to you.
I had some friends in beauty school who were like, yeah, I hate talking to people, so I think I'm going to go into mortuary stuff after this.
I can understand that. I sympathize.
Yeah.
Well, I don't like talking to people when I get my hair cut, so...
Well, that's why there needs to be invented the introvert salon, where
that's such a good idea. That is a brilliant idea.
Thank you. TM.
Especially because I'm an introvert and I have anxiety problems. So when I had hair, oh my God, that was the most nightmarish situation for me. Because it's always the same questions as well. Like, so are you doing anything tonight? Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. I'm just going to play video games. That kind of kills the conversation stone dead. Okay.
And it's hard because I'm an introvert, so I don't really know what to say to people. Yeah. Like, do you watch movies? Is usually what I ask people.
But then you feel like you have to, if they say, yeah, I really like, and they say something that you hate, you got to go, oh, yeah, that's good. Yeah.
That's usually the case.
Have you ever had people, though, who come in and are like, oh, yeah, I really like Point Break. And you're like, how much do you like Point Break?
We're going to be best friends now.
See if it's safe to drop the podcast in. Like, can I mention this? Whenever I bring it up to someone, they don't understand what I'm talking about. Like, what? Wait,
for
it's
sure.
a minute long? No.
Yeah.
much more than that. Yeah, it's always how weird will they think I am
Exactly.
for saying this very weird thing that I do?
Yeah. I think it'll be even like something like Point Break as well, because at least with Batman, I'm okay telling people, because like, well, Batman's a big IP, so I get a lot of people might be like, oh, I guess okay, but Point Break's so niche, like it's so like just that one movie, why that movie in particular, like what about that?
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Because it's the best movie ever made.
Yeah, we've been exploring why exactly we like it throughout the podcast. That's part of the journey.
Yeah.
Well, after
It's because it's so good.
And I do have to say I like it more now than I did when we started. My fondness has grown since we've been exploring it.
Yes.
So I think that's a good sign.
Now, that happens to me as well. Like, this is my favorite Batman, but now I love it even more. It's the best. It's the best thing in the world that isn't Star Wars. But someone called that first. No, with Point Break though, when you had me on, because of the scene with the meatball sandwich, I for about 6 weeks afterwards just had a vegetarian version of the meatball. So
Nice. How was it?
oh, it was amazing. It was amazing. Unbelievably nice. I made a fancy marinara sauce to go on it, and it was great. And every weekend, every Sunday, that was my lunch for like 6 weeks.
Oh.
Nice.
Yeah, they have 2 though, John. Just John, get me 2.
I should have made 3.
Yeah.
I don't remember when
So
John told
hungry.
me like, oh yeah, I was on Point Break Minute, and then he mentioned he got that scene. I was like, that's the best scene.
It is.
It's a really good one.
Yes. So go and listen to that, folks. But after this, listen to this first.
Yeah, don't just stop right now. We still have stuff to talk about.
I do have to say though, because I've been going through this minute, and I've got to pause. If you guys have the clip up on second 49, because this is when the crowd are really going for the Penguin. And like again, if you look at any crowd of extras, you're always going to find some gold. But like this is because most of them are really like, they're really going for the outrage and stuff. And there's one guy kind of near the back and towards the middle who's wearing this kind of floppy, furry hat when it goes down over the ears. And he's got big, thick kind of glasses and a leather jacket. He's just kind of gazing, like, I don't know if it's like kind of admiration, or it just seems like he's kind of in love with the Penguin. He's like, oh, there he is.
He looks like Rick Moranis, too.
Yes. We need a Rick Moranis comeback. Moranis
Yes,
songs.
desperately.
That's it.
Oh, that works so well.
He slipped in.
Yeah, it's always
Moranis
fun.
slipped in with Kevin Costner and Robert Wilson. Oh, you guys are breaking into Batman, huh? Oh, I love that first movie.
This is our Batman. We're casting it now. Here we go.
Yes.
It's always fun looking at crowds of extras, but I don't think anything beats the Dark Knight scene with the No More Dead Cops guy.
Oh yeah. And the things are worse than ever. That
Things
guy.
are worse than ever.
Or what's the one with the movie with Nicole Kidman? That's the Batman movie with Nicole Kidman.
Oh, Batman
That's
Forever.
That's Batman, yeah.
Yeah, and then the Batman guy.
The guy who's super excited to see Batman come.
I think I would be, if I was an extra though, like in a big movie, I would be shouting out as loud as I could stupid things in silly voices just to see if it would have been picked up anywhere.
But that guy in Batman Forever is like right in front of the camera. He's like closer to the camera than Nicole Kidman.
He's like so prominently featured.
Anyway, we can't talk too much about Batman Forever. That's coming out. That's coming.
Oh
next.
yeah,
Oh,
save it for next year.
Oh, I'm excited.
But
Can we just call that minute now?
Yep.
yeah, of course you
guys
can.
on. We can be on that minute.
I would say get it on the list, but is there a list? I don't even know.
There is a kind of, I know there's at least 4 scenes called now, so like that's one of them. Someone's called Holy Rusted Metal Batman. Someone's called Nicole Kidman feeling up Batman's armor,
Oh.
and someone's called the Riddler and Two-Face's initial crime wave. So unless there's more that I'm forgetting, that is the beginnings of a list at least. So.
Uh-huh.
Well, also say though, this I do love this scene. I love this as a downfall for Oswald. Of course, we mentioned it's kind of throwing back to Nixon and the fact that Nixon was found out through recordings of him just admitting to doing illegal stuff and things like that.
Yeah.
But interestingly, this was not in the original script. For all the insane camp insanity of that original Dan Waters draft, he didn't. The downfall of the Penguin's much more subdued. Basically, what happens is that, as we mentioned last week, Max and the mayor are talking, and the mayor's been informed that Max has been funding Oswald Cobblepot, and the mayor feels very betrayed because he thought Max was his friend and stuff, and then Max is basically telling him, yes, I just did this to teach you who's boss and stuff, and like now that you're more complicit, we can go back. I can get rid of the Penguin, and we can just go back to normal. And so apparently it's supposed to be just a scene of the Penguin coming into his campaign headquarters, and it's just been cleared out. There's nobody there. Yeah. It's just literally like a wayward balloon floating across, like that, but everything else has been taken down. And then he calls up Max, and basically, in a kind of like pleading, like, kind of like, oh, hope is there a misunderstanding, Max? What's going on? Kind of vibe to it. And Max basically tells him what the deal is, and comes out with well, people came to see you because you were a good show. Limited engagement. Did you really think you'd become mayor? A freak causing a recall election? Gosh, I feel bad now. I misled you. Oswald, have you ever considered doing one of those delightful professional wrestling shows?
Delightful.
And then
that's great.
But then basically, the Penguin has a bit of a freak out, and Max just sort of, just hangs up the phone on him. Although I would absolutely love if the Penguin became a professional wrestler.
Yes.
That would work. Yeah, that could be a great career for him.
Definitely.
I could really see that. And he does in this minute, speaking of that, or is this in the next one?
I think in the next scene,
Never mind. Okay.
he kind of body slams a guy, pretty much.
Yep.
But yeah, I just thought that was quite odd, considering, like, Dan Waters, one of his things, he always said that, like, oh yeah, they really kind of tamed his script. Whereas this is a much more flamboyant, humiliating downfall for the Penguin. Whereas in the other one, like, that just seems like a very sort of like, keep it cheap. Like, don't have a big scene with loads of people or anything. Like,
he's only humiliated in front of one person rather than a whole crowd.
Yeah. It just feels it's like a kind of much more personal betrayal. This is more like the entire city has once again, like, very viciously rejected this man. And, of course, the guy who was rejected by society in general. So it's all coming flooding back to him. And then the fact that Max did have this sort of, like, shrug of, like, hey, that's business. One day you're on top of the world, the next you're some schmo working in a box factory. That kind of, like, you're over, kid. Just don't worry about it. It's only sort of like a side tangent. Whereas in the original draft, Max's betrayal was much more the kind of like, oh my god, this guy I trusted completely screwed me over. But anyway, of course, then we do get the crowd then begin to pelt the Penguin with their groceries, which I always felt I don't get why people would do this, because, like, again, I said when we watched Selena Kyle destroying her apartment, it seems like you're gonna have to replace all that stuff, right? Like, you're just breaking your own property, throwing stuff at.
You don't see the aftermath of the guy has to clean all this up.
Yeah. Some poor city janitor.
That'd be a good movie. I want to see that film.
He starts scheming. He becomes the next supervillain of Gotham because he just hates the people. It's like, keep pelting all these politicians and stuff.
Well, my question here is, like, why do these people have this food on them, handy, at this moment?
They were grocery shopping and then decided to impromptu, stop for the speech.
As you do,
Yeah.
I think the people of Gotham, I mean, they're bad people.
Well, they're primary.
They probably bring any speech. If anyone goes to a speech, I think they just bring something just in case they don't like it, and it's just part of the culture in Gotham.
I'm gonna start doing
their primary diet is cabbage and tomatoes. So it's
Well, to be fair, you could put a spin on it that, like, this is all their groceries and everyone is on cabbage and tomatoes, because apparently a lot of the the imagery in the sets and stuff is supposed to be kind of inspired by post World War I Germany, like kind of Weimar Republic era and stuff. Of course, then the people of Germany at that time were in horrible poverty and stuff. So you could say maybe it was like, this if they're in a similar boat, maybe literally all that they can afford is tomatoes and cabbages. And of course, now they're going to go hungry tonight because they're
wasting it
all.
It's okay. You can scoop it back up. You're going to cook it. It'll cook the germs away. It's fine.
Yeah.
5-second rule. Just
Exactly.
It didn't even hit the floor; it hit him. It's fine.
In Gotham, it's the 5-minute rule.
Yeah.
It's still
When
Yeah.
needs must,
Still good
you
after-
extend the 5-second rule. Yes.
But yeah, then that sort of starts bleeding into next minute. So I think I'm all noted out for this minute. I don't know if you anyone else have anything they want to bring up about this in particular.
Well, the only thing I've got here is yet again the strict draft, as always, goes a little more in depth with these developments, as it tends to do, and I do actually quite like this bit. I can see why it's not in there. It's effective in the movie, but it's when Max is fleeing. Penguin shouts to him. He says, "Max, relax. Josh and Jen will put a spin on this." So that ties into what you're saying. We'll talk it over tonight at your costume put, and then Max butts in. "I think you'd feel out of place at my party. You see, it's for winners." And he scrambles. Oh. Burn.
That's a proper like coffees for closers kind of attitude.
Yeah.
That's nasty. And he says, leaving Penguin wiping his face.
Oh. Is he wiping of tears or of like the mucus that's coming out of his mouth?
I thought it was just going to be of like food, but you know what? I don't think he's been hit with the food yet.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe it's just all the crap coming out of his mouth.
Just constantly just like black
That
sludge.
dribble.
God, I love it.
Yeah. So gross.
Yeah, Danny came up with that himself, which is it's an even cooler thing, I think. He just sort of randomly did it, and like, that's amazing. Keep doing it.
Yeah, it works so well.
That's awesome. It's awesome that an actor is willing to make themselves gross.
No, he
I love it.
he nails this, and he's just so in the right tone, and it's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's his best role. It's my favorite role of his. But I mean, he's wonderful. He's great in everything. Even bad movies, he's good in.
Yeah, he's always good. This is one. I mean, I do like him a lot on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
He gets to do some really fun stuff on that, and it's almost kind of similar to this, where he's kind of going back to like the just letting it all hang out. Yeah, letting it all hang out, and just being as weird and crazy as he can be.
Things are about to get real weird.
Oh, this whole movie's real weird, so it's very similar.
Yes.
But yes, we'll head off into the dark night now. Would you like to tell our listeners where they can find your wonderful show, Point Break Minute?
Yes, Point Break Minute. Just search for it.
You do the work.
You do. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. Google it. We're on iTunes, so that's probably the best way to find it. As far as I know, we're the only shows about the movie Point Break. So
haven't seen any others.
It's niche, but there's an advantage of that. Yeah, we're on iTunes. If you do Google Play, I think we're on there as well. I just started using Google Play. It seems okay. So check us out. We're on minute 80 something now. So yeah, we're getting there.
Hey.
We're over halfway through now. It took us a while.
Do check.
I'm also I've been starting to promote this a little bit. Still in the works. Not exactly sure when, but we'll be doing. I'll be doing at least podcasting a quarter movie at a time, which is an exploration of the Fast and Furious series.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, we'll be doing just 4 episodes a movie, quarter movie at a time. So it's not going to be as in depth as that, but we'll have some good discussions about it.
That's actually a great way of doing it. I really like that idea.
Yeah, I think it'll be good, and it'll be. I'm fascinated by the series. I definitely love it, but I'm also acknowledge that it is very silly, and it's just so it's remarkable how it became one of the biggest franchises in the world.
It's baffling. I love it.
Based on a Rob Cohen movie starring Paul Walker and Vin Diesel.
Yep. It's a pretty serious-ish movie as well, isn't it? It's like a crime story. It's quite down to earth.
It's definitely very like it takes itself. The first one takes itself seriously, and it's just the story of how the story arc of the movie franchise itself is in a lot of ways more interesting than the stories of the movies.
Yeah.
And how it evolved. So yeah, we'll be talking about that.
Excellent.
Look for that coming up sometime this year, maybe after we finish Point Break.
Oh, well, check out the Point Break Minute, everyone, and then keep your eyes peeled for that one because that sounds excellent. And in the meantime, I mean, we're everywhere we normally are. We haven't done anything new. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Just look up Bat Minute. Just look it up. We're everywhere. And review us on iTunes. That's always good. We have a review here. I forgot. We've had it for a little while, and I forgot to thank them. Thank you, Russ to the G, for your 5 stars there. It's another one on the books.
Oh.
Yeah, and I have submitted our podcast to Spotify. So when that gets approved, we'll be on there as well, and I can play it from my bed on my Amazon Echo. I won't have to get up.
That explain. I didn't realize I hadn't been approved because I told Gary, the guy I live with, that like, oh, apparently we're on Spotify now, and then he spent about 10 minutes in his kitchen with Alexa one day, going, Alexa, play Bat Minute on Spotify. And he's like, because Alexa doesn't understand him. He doesn't understand his accent because he's from the same town as me. So every time we have to go up to Alexa, lean in and be like, Alexa, play Men at Work, something like that. So, but for ages he just thought like, this goddamn Alexa. He was ready to throw it out the window. But now I realize, this hasn't been approved on Spotify.
It has not. It takes time. But look out for that, everyone. And we have finally done a T-shirt for our second season here. Our logo is available, so go and buy that on TeePublic. And we will see you again on Wednesday for more Bat Minute Returns.
Next time. Hey, baby, I hear the blues are calling. Tossed salad and scrambled eggs. It. And maybe his campaign seems so screwed. Yeah, maybe. But we got you, Pang. Gwen. Now it's back into the sewer in case those tossed salads and scrambled eggs come calling again. Scrambled eggs all over his umbrella. What is a bird boy to do? Oswald has left the building.